guess what? I I reacted to Be My Guest by Ouro Kronii, and when I checked the footage, I realized it was not recording. So now I have to do the reaction again. I never learned my lesson, do I? There's been so many times. No, there's not many times. There's only been 2 times that I've forgot to press record. This is the second time. Anyway, make sure I'm recording. Okay, and recording. All right, now let's do this. I'm going to say exactly what I said. So 2 of the Hololive members pretty much posted a cover song simultaneously. One is Be My Guest by Ouro Kronii, and another one is Stella Stellar by Nanashi Mumei. If you guys don't know, I used to don't like Stella Stellar. Now, that song started to grow on me a little bit. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. I'm just going to react to Be My Guest by Ouro Kronii. But I'm going to react to Stella Stellar later in this video. Let's listen to what we got here. I listened to it. I listened to it. That whistle! Kronii really do have that voice that just get people going. This type of instrumental really suits Ouro Kronii's voice. Like her deep voice, that mysterious voice, that sadistic voice. You know what I'm saying? It was so perfect for her to sing this track. It's amazing. Now let's listen to the original and see what is the difference. I listened to it. The vocal on this part particularly was not good, in my opinion at least. It doesn't really have that emotion in that part, you know what I'm saying? It was okay, maybe if I listened to this one before, but I never listened to this song before. After listening to Ouro Kronii's version, it is a lot more lacking than Ouro Kronii's version. Why am I keep saying her full name? I'm Kronii's version. So this one was sang by Kai Yuki and Flower. Flower was the male voice, which is like the backup vocals on the chorus, I'm pretty sure. And Kai Yuki is... Who's Kai Yuki? Oh. So she's a lolly. Height as tall as 10 big apples? I thought you're Japanese, not Americans. So Kai Yuki is the one that sang Kyofu Orubaku. Ah, never knew that. Cover yourself. What are you, shameless? Anyway, let's keep going with Kronii's version. Look at this muff.
Hi.
Ain't this look like Lady Dimitrescu? This is amazing. Well, I feel like Kronii's version, everything was better than the original. And if you're talking about vocals, right? They're Vocaloid in the original, so it's not really fair. It doesn't really have any emotions. That kind of sadistic voice is lacking. You know what I'm saying? With this kind of instrumental, you gotta have at least a little bit of that. But vocal aside, the instrumental mixing as well. I feel like the cover is also better than the original. I feel like the original was a little bit too crispy, and it has a lot of like crackling sound in like the whole mix. The chords, the melody, the drums are all, I feel like it's really messy, didn't really mix as well. In the cover, it's so much more smooth, so much more clean. And listen to this 808, Jesus. Gotta put some multiple soft clipper on that.
Hi.
Anyway, let's finish the original and see what else I can add on this. EQ was a little lacking on the original. It just feels like, I mean the vocal, does it feel like a little too messy? I feel like the only part that saved the original is the outro. The other part is too loud, too messy and everything. The outro was doing just fine. While Kronii's version though, everything is so much better. Like Kronii's vocals with that whispery tone, that raspy voice somehow a little bit on like the second verse, right? This is crazy. It's amazing. This cover song is amazing.
Yes, I know.
If I have to rate this one, I would probably give it a 10. You know what I'm saying? With Kronii's vocals on that and this type of genre that I personally really enjoy. You know, I just love this cover. I love it. I love it. So much better than the original if I gotta be honest. Alright, let's go for Nanashi Mumei, Stella Stellar. It's by Suisei.
プなモノローグさずっと言えない言葉があった壊せない壁があったんだずっとさふっとこぼれ立つその匂いがどうしようもなく憎らしくて部屋の隅で膝を抱えて震えていた太陽なんていらないから開けないでてその手を伸ばして誰かに届くように僕だって君と同じ特別なんかじゃないから今夜の舞台を照らせらあれだけの輝って今宵音楽はずっとやまないそうだ僕はずっと泣いてかったのはだってシンデレラじゃないさ迎えに行くおじさんまだだって僕は推しだから
I feel like the intro and the verse, she pretty much nailed it. But on the pre-chorus part, the pre-chorus is probably the most flawed part in this whole cover. Like, especially this part. That part is a tiny bit offbeat. It was not that obvious because like the drums are so fast you don't really get the rhythm anymore. But if you listen closely, there are a few notes that is quite not on beat. And also the chorus part especially, like not on the higher part, it was like this part. It's a little pitchy. Maybe it's a little too deep for her to use like this type of singing. Like I realized something about Mumei's singing. Sometimes when she go opera, she'll sing like a little bit lower on the throat. And sometimes if she's singing like this type of pop song, she will go for that higher pitch voice. So that's the two sound that is different. And Mumei can pretty much perfect both, but one of them I can hear, especially in this cover, she was a little struggling, especially when it's that, like, it's not high enough to use the head voice, and it's not low enough to use the chest voice. It was like totally on the mix. That is really hard to like perfect. The mixed voice is very hard to perfect. So if you're using a mixed voice, it's better to use a lower throat voice for stability. The outcome is not as bad as I thought. It's just a little bit pitchy. That's it. And I can hear that she's quite struggling on that. Anyway, let's listen to the original and see what is the difference between the two. So in Mumei's version, the vocal layers is not as tidy as the original. And also the original added a lot more like impact into the was that string or was that piano? Was that just bass? Okay, that's bass. So in Mumei's version, this part is you probably heard me saying like a lot of covers they just like lower down the instrumental volume and just leave it like that and add the vocal on top of it, be a cover. This one is a little different. I wouldn't say bad, it's just not as good. Like they just remove a little bit too much of the low end that the bass was almost inaudible. You can hear it if you listen to it closely. Now that I mentioned about the bass, you might be like, oh yeah, there's bass because I just said the bass. That's why you paid attention to the bass. All I was saying is it was not too bad, just the bass, like the low end sound of the bass was EQ'd a little bit too much that it sounded not as powerful as the original. Anyway, let's keep going with the cover. Yeah, like I said, the verse, she nailed it. This part is perfect. One part I need to point out. This part, the breathing was a little bit flawed. Can you hear that? Can you play it again? She probably forgot to breathe at the E here. That is why like the ha at that, the hiragana is ha, but they pronounce it as wa, so I don't really know how to pronounce that. At the ha part, she just kind of like cut half of like the whole note length. Sorry, I can't speak. But maybe she just forgot to breathe after the E here, which you were supposed to breathe after one line, so that's why she kind of like ran out of breath. But I mean, this is a cover, you could have just like take 2 takes. That is a little pitchy as well. The hero part. That's good. That's good at the end. Well, of course, there's a couple flaws here and there, but overall, this song with Mumei's voice, like the performance, the vocal mixing, was really good. Just the instrumental mixing, somehow the EQing was a little bit, it can be a little bit better. And also, like the first pre-chorus and chorus, there's a little flawed here and there. And at this part, there's a little breathing mistake, but it's all good. All overall, this cover song sang by Nanashi Mumei is really good. I love it. Let's keep listening to the original and see what else I can add on this. Can I just say something about the drums? I never had this impression when I first listened to this song, but like the drums was so unique being on this track. They used like somehow kind of We Will Rock You type of drums, that really hard-hitting rock drums on this pop song. That is really unique. I just want to point that out. I don't know why, I'm starting to feel something about this song that I never felt before. Okay, so come down to the conclusion. Vocal, Suisei is a lot more stable than Mumei's, and her voice is a lot more stronger when it comes to this type of performance. So I would have to give it to the original. On the instrumental part, they are both pretty much the same, so it comes down to the production. The production on the instrumental and also the vocals, I feel like both I also have to give it to the original. In the original, the production of the instrumental was so much better, like the atmosphere, the bass, like all of those strings and piano and all those arpeggios, blend them together really well. And the vocal production, I feel like they're both not bad. Mumei's version, like with a little bit of reverb, that EQing is fine, the voice is really smooth. I don't know if she added at least a little bit of autotune on there, but if she does, dub for her, that is a good way of using autotune. But Suisei's vocal just sounded a lot more epic, like with all those vocal layers layered up perfectly with each other, making this song really clean and tidy, while the cover is just somehow can be better. So yeah, so conclusion for the first song, which is Be My Guest by Ouro Kronii, I would feel like Kronii did it better when it comes to like comparing the original and the cover. For Nanashi Mumei's Stella Stellar cover, I feel like the original is better.